On July 7th, 2026, a company most people have never heard of started a phase 3 clinical trial for a drug that no human chemist ever touched. Every step, finding the target, designing the molecule, even predicting how the trial would go, was done by artificial intelligence. This is Insilico Medicine, a Hong Kong-listed biotech that just signed a deal worth up to $2.75 billion with Eli Lilly, and the company running the closest thing the world has to a real test of whether AI can actually discover drugs, not just talk about it. Here's the actual announcement. On July 7th, 2026, Insilico Medicine said it had dosed the first patients in a phase 3 trial of Rentosertib, its lead drug for idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, a lung-scarring disease with no cure. The trial will enroll 320 patients across 47 centers in China, over 52 weeks, tracking how much lung function patients keep. It follows a phase 2A study that showed a measurable improvement in lung capacity after just 12 weeks. The company describes Rentosertib as the first therapy where the disease target, the molecule itself, and the clinical development plan were all originated by artificial intelligence, not sped up by it, originated by it. Some vitals. Insilico Medicine was founded in 2014, is now headquartered in Boston with research hubs across 6 countries, and employs several hundred scientists and engineers. It's raised more than $500 million since founding, and in December 2025 it listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, 2025's largest biotech IPO on that exchange, backed by cornerstone investors Eli Lilly and Tencent. Since listing, its market value has climbed to roughly $3 billion. And of the more than 40 drug programs it's discovered using generative AI, 13 have already made it far enough to be tested in a person. Here's what Insilico actually sells and what it uses on itself. The platform is called Pharma.AI, and it's really 3 connected engines. PandaOmics mines biological data, genomics, literature, clinical records, to find disease targets nobody else is looking at. Chemistry 42 then generates and scores millions of candidate molecules against that target, using generative models instead of a chemist screening a compound library by hand. And InClinico tries to predict how a trial will actually go before you spend the money running it. Most AI drug discovery companies sell access to one piece of that. Insilico runs all 3 on its own pipeline and takes the resulting drugs into human trials itself. Here's how Insilico actually got here. 2014, Alex Zavaronka founds the company, building on his own earlier research into the biology of aging. 2019, a $37 million round, and the company decides to stop just selling its AI tools and start developing its own drugs. January 2021, a partnership with Fosun Pharma opens the Chinese market. 2021, a $255 million Series C, one of the largest AI biotech raises ever. 2022, Rentosertib enters Phase 1, the first AI-discovered target and AI-designed molecule ever tested in a person. 2023, Insilico licenses a second drug, targeting USB1, to Exelixis for $80 million upfront. June 2024, Rentosertib posts positive Phase 2 results. January 2025, a $110 million Series E. December 2025, the Hong Kong IPO. March 2026, the Eli Lilly deal. July 2026, Phase 3 begins. So what has all of that actually produced? Insilico's own pipeline page lists more than 40 active drug programs, discovered using its Pharma.AI platform. 13 of them have already cleared the bar for human testing. Rentosertib, the TNIK inhibitor for lung fibrosis, is the furthest along, now in Phase 3 in China, wholly owned by Insilico itself. 2 more are already dosing patients. XL309, a USB1 inhibitor for BRCA mutant cancers, out-licensed to Exelixis and now in Phase 1, and a QPCTL inhibitor for cancer immunotherapy, also in Phase 1. 2 more graduated all the way to a licensing deal before ever reaching a clinic under Insilico's own name. A KT6 inhibitor for breast cancer and a KIF18A inhibitor for solid tumors, both out-licensed to Menarini. Behind those sits a long preclinical bench spanning oncology, inflammation, and pain. This is a real pipeline, not a slide deck. 3 drugs already dosing in humans, several more already sold to partners, and dozens more behind them. So what's actually different about Insilico versus every other company claiming to do AI drug discovery? Speed. Rentosertib went from an AI-identified target to a first-in-human trial in about 30 months. The industry average is closer to 6 years. Vertical integration. It doesn't just sell a platform, It runs target discovery, molecule design, and trial outcome prediction as one connected system, then takes the output into its own clinical trials. And now, validation. Eli Lilly, one of the most valuable pharmaceutical companies on Earth, just bet up to $2.75 billion that Insilico's molecules are worth developing at global scale. A lot of AI drug discovery companies can show you a demo. Insilico can show you patients in a phase 3 trial. So how does Insilico stack up against the rest of the AI drug discovery field? Against Isomorphic Labs, Alphabet's DeepMind-born spinout, Insilico is far smaller, but Isomorphic still has no drug of its own in human trials. It licenses its models to partners like Eli Lilly and Novartis. Against Recursion Pharmaceuticals, which absorbed Exscientia in a 2024 merger, Insilico is roughly comparable in scale, but has moved a wholly owned drug further through the clinic. Against Schrödinger and Xtal-Pi, both physics-AI hybrid platforms sold mainly as tools to other biotechs. Insilico's edge is the same one running through this whole story. It doesn't just sell the shovel, it's also digging. Founder and CEO Alex Zavaronka framed the whole company around one idea, going back to the target behind its lead drug. Quote, "This program began with the hypothesis that aging biology could help identify powerful targets for major diseases and aging itself. It's a bet that's now 3 drugs deep into human testing, and worth remembering the next time someone claims a demo alone proves an AI has discovered anything. None of this is settled yet. No AI-originated drug has been approved by any regulator, anywhere. Rentosertib's phase 3 has to actually succeed first, and idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis has a brutal track record. Most drugs that reach late-stage trials for it still fail. The phase 3 itself runs entirely across 47 centers in China, a geographic concentration that adds regulatory and execution risk if anything goes wrong there. Insilico's near-term finances still lean heavily on partner milestone payments, not product revenue, and the field is getting more crowded by the month. Eli Lilly, its new billion-dollar partner, is also building its own AI drug discovery capability in-house. The stock has already climbed sharply in value since the Lilly deal was announced. A lot of optimism is priced in before a single AI-discovered drug has actually reached a pharmacy shelf. So why does one company's phase 3 trial matter beyond its own stock chart? Because Insilico is the closest real-world test of the biggest claim in biotech right now, that AI can meaningfully compress drug discovery, not just decorate it. The bull case, a wholly owned drug in phase 3, 2 more already in human trials, a $2.75 billion validation from Eli Lilly, and a repeatable platform behind all of it. The bear case, 0 approved drugs so far, a disease with a history of late-stage failures, geographic concentration in its pivotal trial, an evaluation that's already pricing in a lot of success that hasn't happened yet. If Rentosertib's phase 3 reads out clean, it's evidence the whole AI drug discovery thesis works. If it doesn't, it's evidence for every skeptic who's called this hype. Whatever happens with this one trial, the bigger story is bigger than Insilico. This is what it looks like when artificial intelligence gets let loose on one of the hardest problems in science. And it means drug discovery is about to move at a pace it's never moved at before. Comment your take below and subscribe for what comes next.